Okay, we are live. I'm back. And back by popular demand, by email, like crazy. How's everybody doing? We are doing a special late night live for the very first time because I'm usually on at 8:30. But I was with Miss Q Carlock and baby Mackenzie's family on Q Carlock's page, her channel tonight, and we had a great live. In fact, it's still going on now, and I had to say, "Oh my goodness, the time has jumped. I've got to go and do my live tonight now." So that's where I was. Thank you so much for waiting patiently. We've got some people up in the house. There's Peggy Moore, Sweet Pea, Sylvia Garza, Ty Lynn, Lady J. Welcome. I was looking at a lot of commentary and a lot of videos pertaining to the Summer Wells case. And since its inception, it has been quite the case that everyone is familiar with. Missing 5-year-old from her residence out in Rogersville, Tennessee, and sort of reminded me of the Cash Gernon case. And I said, what is going on? Why are our kids going missing the way they have been? And so everyone knows that I've been working on the Cash Gernon case, as well as the Orrin and Orson West case, two boys out of California City that went missing in their household from their residence as the story unfolded. And here we have another case similar. And I'm shaking my head back and forth and I'm going, this is incredible. You mean to tell me that people can actually get away with the stories that they're telling as to how their children are going missing now? And no one seems to have a clue as to how they're going missing now? That's incredible. Absolutely incredible. And so when I laid eyes on the Summer Wells case, I wasn't going to do anything with it because we've got great content creators out there that are covering the case. Miss Tiffany Marie being one of them, covering this case, I mean, beyond compare. Working almost 24/7 on this case. Much love goes out to Tiffany Marie. AB on his channel has been covering the case. Miss Q Carlock has been covering the case on her channel. Chasing Truth has been covering the case on her channel. And a variety of others have been covering the Summer Wells case. It's almost like you can't get on YouTube without banging in or coming across the Summer Wells case. And so I've been getting emails galore based upon the work that I've done, not only on the Cash Gernon case, but on the Orrin and Orson West case, Classic and Sincere. And I was asked a number of times, when are you going to do something regarding the Summer Wells case, if there's anything that you can do? And over and over and over for the last, I think, the last week and a half at best. And I thought about it. And I've been able to take a look at especially the interview room that's been really covering the case. Chris McDonough has done an excellent job in doing what he's able to do as a retired detective and investigator himself. And as he brings light, as all those content creators bring light to a case like this, we're all trying to make heads or tails, as to who's moving closer to case resolution, because that's what it's all about. How does this case get resolved? What happened to Summer Wells? Why did she go missing the way she did? And who's responsible for her going missing? It's been 40 days at best that the efforts of the state of Tennessee, the police department, TBI, Tennessee Bureau of Investigations, the sheriff's office, along with EquiSearch and a host of other important agencies, the FBI, special tactical teams regarding communications. When I say tactical, I mean communications and not the other. Pouring their efforts out in the last almost 40 days now, looking for Summer Wells. Are we moving any closer to finding out what happened? I believe we are. It's just getting the proper, information, the accurate information. Only TBI has that, along with the sheriff's office and the search agency, search and rescue agency that they're working with right now, have a good idea. But as they should, they're holding all their information close to their chest, as they should, and keeping all their ducks in a row and making sure that all the efforts in the last 40 days, all their efforts are going to conclude in finding out who's been responsible for Summer Wells going missing and how she went missing is the most important, because she was on her residence. She was at home. And as the story unfolded, from what we've heard, especially on the interview channel, the interview room from Chris McDonough, we have found out a lot, especially for the people that are peripherally involved in this case. The parents of Summer Wells, Donald Wells, and Candace Bly, still today are sticking to their story. Still today are looking for Summer Wells, their daughter. A lot has gone on in the last 40 days too, because now their other three children, the other three boys, have been taken away from them by Child Protective Services. Could you imagine that happening to you? It's a regular day in the state of Tennessee where Summer Wells lives, where Summer Wells played, where she loved and where she gave love to her family. And then all of a sudden the day turns inside out almost by dinner time with her going missing. As a parent myself and a grandparent, I would be going crazy just as much as Summer Wells' parents at that time, just as much as the Hawkins Police Department and all of the law officials and authorities that are involved in this case. In the first 13 days, they put out efforts like we have never seen before in a search effort. And this story just broke not only nationally, but worldwide in a short period of time. And so as the story unfolds, and as we begin to see more and more each day as the story changes to a different degree. We get to see a lot of underlying things. A lot of people on social media have their own opinions and theories as to what happened to Summer Wells, as we would expect social media to do. And the story changes just as a moments in time. Tonight, what I'm going to attempt to do is to bring to light just something that I saw in this case, and maybe, just maybe, a little bit of a theory myself in regards to what may have occurred. What are the possibilities of this particular scenario unfolding in this case? I'm going to go over some information tonight that is going to be far different than what was discussed on the other channels. I'm going to be going over some materials with you from the interview room, and we're going to do a walkthrough, a home walkthrough, as you've already seen it, but you're going to do it with me. We're going to do this together. I'm going to share with you my insights on what I see, and I'm going to share with you some information about how I come to certain conclusions. Hopefully it'll help, because that is the purpose of tonight's live. Hopefully this little piece of information can help. With that said, welcome everyone for a special late night live with John Q pertaining to the Summer Wells case. We're going to do a home walkthrough at the crime scene. Just getting things adjusted. And tonight's title, A Line of Sight, Walking the Grid, is what we're going to do tonight. For anyone who's in law enforcement that knows the term walking the grid, who might be in the investigative divisions of their departments across the state, those people know what I'm talking about. But first of all, let me just drop this disclaimer, because they're going to say, oh, John Q is an investigator. Well, a personal one, a private one on my own channel. But my disclaimer is this. I am not a professional law enforcement officer, nor am I licensed in law enforcement at any capacity, nor am I in the medical field in any capacity, nor am I in the legal field in any capacity. I come to you tonight as a concerned parent and grandparent, and we all have eyes and ears. We all see what we see, and we all come to know and learn and understand what we come to know, learn, and understand. Perception plays a very important part, as I've always said, in every case and in everyday life. But in this particular case, perception plays a very important part. We started that concept, we used that concept in the Cash Gurnan case. I'm about to apply it here tonight, along with your perception, because it's going to be needed. So I welcome everyone. Let me just get this together. We've got a lot of people here tonight. Jennifer Marie, hello. Sandra Moran, hello. Sword of the Spirit, hello. Leslie B, moderating tonight. Thank you for joining me. I got to go back up this list a little bit before we get into it. Patricia Strang, G Money is in the house. Fire Mama 411. I am sorry I took too long. Well, let's just say I had delayed time in getting to your Instagram post that you sent me regarding the two pictures concerning the Cash Gurnan case. I did get it, and I do have it on my computer now. So thank you so much for sharing that information. I will be using it in my update. Fire Mama 411. Cold Pepsi. My goodness, where you been? Long time no see. Pink Butterfly. Conjuring Fan. Mad Green 420. I usually give my room a shout out before I begin because it's only proper to. It's got a lot of people. Wow. Okay. Novella Wilson. That's a beautiful name. Phoebe Beach. Sandra Moran. Cat's Eye. Welcome. Wow, I didn't know you all were all up in here. Raul Herrera. Sue Fitchett. Welcome. Tyra Lynch. Welcome. Black Angel. Welcome. And the list goes on, but I don't want to take up too much of your time tonight. Anyway, to begin with, you're going to find tonight's information informative, very direct, and perhaps the strongest thing you've probably seen on a content creator's channel. I make that statement very bold because it is information that is well worth a look at, and it is information that could possibly help. So with that said, let's go to work. Give me 30 seconds to get set up, and I will be right back. Going to go to screen share. I'm going to start pulling up my screens. Type a 1 for a sound check. And type a 1 also if you can see the screen. Boss Blake, welcome. If you're in the house, I see you, brother. Thank you. Aubrey, thank you. My goodness, I got my moderators pulling up and jumping out. Thank you so much for joining us. As we cover this case tonight, I like to start out with the boys. We are still working on the boys. Orrin and Orson West. Classic and Sincere. We still have an open file on them. And it's going on quite some time now. 7 months. These boys are still missing out of California City, California. The case is now moved to Bakersfield, where it has stood and stayed, only because that's where the evidence led. Back to Bakersfield. Hopefully we'll get an update from the Bakersfield Police Department and their investigators as to some new information. I keep them always on top of the table, always alive. Justice for Classic and Sincere. It's coming. It's coming. For those of you who are familiar with the website, www.wherearetheboys.com, updates are posted there. We've spoke about that on previous lives. We talked to you about the Cash Gernon case. We're going to be keeping updates on that and giving updates. In fact, I had a comment on one of the last lives I did on this case. When are you going to be coming with an update? I said, I'm working on it. And I am. So justice for Cash Gernon, that's coming. Summer Wells, we're going to be talking about tonight. Kenneka Jenkins, Justice for Kenneka. We're still working on that case. Some of these cases do take time. This one has been my longest, but I'm sure justice will prevail. I know it. Justice for Kenneka. James Riker Beal. I'll be working on that case shortly. We will be talking about this. This very important case here. Amari Nicholson. I was about to say Ahmaud Arbery, but no. Ahmaud Arbery is a different case. Amari Nicholson, that case is an active case. Justice for Amari Nicholson. Xavier Harrelson will be another case I'll be working on. So for the family of Xavier Harrelson out in Iowa, you got the attention of John Q. So that case will be presented shortly as my time, opens up. Kendrick Johnson's case is an open case, and that justice is coming too. The family of Kendrick Johnson. But tonight we're going to be focusing on a beautiful 5-year-old that went missing on June 15th from her home where she lived with her family. How it happened is still being sorted out by law enforcement in a way we've never seen before. This is probably one of the biggest stories so far this year on the kind of efforts that law enforcement has committed and has put their strongest personnel on. We're talking about folks from the FBI. We're talking about folks from the Tennessee Bureau of Investigations, the Sheriff's Department, search and rescue operations. We've had EquiSearch on assignment for 2 time periods. They were there for the first 13 days, and they just recently did a search over the weekend to cover more ground. From what I've heard, more than 5,000 acres has been covered. It could be more than that. Where is this little girl? How did she go missing? And if there is an abductor, why? Why Summer Wells? What was the reason for this little girl going missing? Well, let's start to dig into some of the things that we already know from other content creators on YouTube, on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, and every other media application out there, social media application. And let's take a look from a different perspective as to some of the things that we do know and some of the things that we need to take a look at. So with that said, I want to throw up a copyright disclaimer, as I always do, based on content used from the internet sources, social media, YouTube, and the like. And the information we're going to share with you tonight is going to be covering an extensive amount of information, by the way, for purposes of criticism, comment, review, news reporting, education, and research. All of what I'm going to share with you tonight falls under the fair use law. Okay, let me see where I want to go. I think I want to start here. How I came to know the story, become to know the story, I've only been working on this a very short period of time. I've been doing a lot of YouTube research on those content creators, bringing the story alive and making sure the story stays strong. And I thank those content creators for doing so. So let us go ahead and play this short clip, and then we'll get right into it.
For the second night, a massive search continues for 5-year-old Summer Wells, the focus of a statewide Tennessee Amber Alert.
Tonight, word from the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation that the agency has received about 30 tips from the public. Good evening, I'm Sarah Diamond.
And I'm Josh Smith. TBI tonight also made a point of saying there is no suspect in the case and no vehicle description tonight. Earlier today, the sheriff of Hawkins County, Ronnie Lawson, said there's no reason to indicate foul play. He said Summer's family is cooperating in the search. The last news conference held around 4 o'clock this afternoon.
Again, Summer Wells is 5 years old. TBI says she's 3 feet tall, weighs about 40 pounds. They continue to think she could still be wearing the gray pants and pink shirt in which she was last seen. If you see her, call 1-800-TBI-FIND.
Our coverage continues with Bianca Ray. She's right on the Hawkins County-Sullivan County line. That's about 3 miles away from a command post near Ben Hill Road in the Beech Creek community where Summer was last seen. Bianca, what are you seeing out there tonight?
Josh and Sarah, investigators say they are still searching for 5-year-old Summer Wells nearly 30 hours after she was reported missing. Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson today told us over 100 people were out searching for Summer, who was last seen wearing a pink shirt and gray shorts, and she was also believed to be barefoot. The sheriff said authorities need help searching the area to find the little girl, but the TBI asked neighbors to share any footage from trail or security cameras with police and check any outbuildings or crawl spaces to see if they can find Summer.
What makes it so hard is the communication between the boots on the ground, searching the woods, and the different agencies and officers, and it's very hard to communicate.
The Beech Creek community where Summer lives has assembled a mural of balloons, ribbons, and even stuffed animals as symbols of their prayers for her safe return.
This tragedy has hit the whole community, not just part of it. Everyone's concerned about this little girl. Everyone is wanting her to be returned safely, to be found quickly. And all of our hearts go out to the mother and to the family.
The TBI tonight releasing a statement that no suspect or vehicle of interest has been identified yet and that the search continues. Here's a photo of 5-year-old Summer Wells. Authorities say she has short-shaved blonde hair, blue eyes, and was last seen wearing gray pants and a pink shirt. If you have any information about her whereabouts, you are asked to call 1-800-TBI-FIND. Reporting live in Sullivan County, Bianca Marais, News Channel 11.
And this is how I came across this story. And as it unfolded, and this was obviously dated June 16th, the day after Summer went missing. This was reported by, let me just do this real quick. Hopefully I don't screw this up. WJHL. That's News Channel 11, who covered this story piece on Summer Wells. And I began watching this carefully as I was working on the Cash Gernon case. And the more and more I began to look at this, the more and more it became similar to the Orson and Orrin West case, Classic and Sincere's case. How could kids go missing right there where they live, underneath the nose of the parents? And that's what caught my attention. I said, not again. And so, with that said, I was watching Chris McDonough's channel, The Interview Room. So have a lot of you. And I started looking at his perspective as to how he started working the case with the interviews with Allison, the interviews with Hunter, the news interviews of both Summer's parents. And we found that interview quite unusual. And I say unusual only because of the way the interview went. We found some very strange language. We also noticed some facial features and body language that went with that, and what was said that made it strange and made it very doubtful to believe that little Summer Wells went missing the way they said she went missing. And so looking into it, I began to start to take a look at the most important place in a case like this. And the most important place in a case like this is always the crime scene itself. Now, for the Kanika Jenkins case, it was an industrial commercial freezer in the back of a hotel, a 4.5-star hotel in Rosemont, Illinois. For Cash Gernon, it was his bedroom crib. For Summer Wells, it was being right there at the household, in broad daylight, after a day out with Candace, with Grandma, with Hunter, going swimming at a pond or a swimming hole, as they called it. Stopping at a hospital, stopping at a pharmacy, stopping at a food market, and a few other places. There were 8 places in total. And the timeline just didn't start to really click together too well in the beginning. But the timeline is there, though. Activities, actions were taken. And the main one out of this whole story, the main action is the action of Summer Wells and her mother Candace and her grandmother going home after dropping Hunter off. That is where the timeline begins. For me, for her going missing, that's where I'm going to start, because this was the last place Summer Wells was seen. Now, with that said, let me see if I need to bring up anything else here in order to begin. All right, we've got that out the way. Okay, so where I began is where it all started. Let me go to it. I wanted to know what was spoke about the most about this case. And it seems like the geographical area and terrain is the best place to start. And so that's what I did. And so let's go to Tennessee. Let's go to the area in which this crime took place. Just be patient with me. You know how these things operate sometimes. The hardest part of this case was the terrain. It still is the hardest part of this case. It's been the main point of this case. And as Google Earth begins to clear up, we'll begin to see, you will begin to see exactly what I'm talking about. That's a little time to begin to clear up. Let me see how close I am. Thank you for joining us tonight. There's a special live presentation, Summer Wells case I started covering. I wanted to do something to make a contribution, and hopefully tonight, by the time it's over, I will have done just that. Here, we're zooming into the geographical area and where this all took place. This is the residence of Summer Wells. And as we can see here from an aerial view, all of the tree foliage that surrounds this property is absolutely incredible. I believe there's 11 acres of land that's involved with this. There's a main strip route here, which is the Beach Creek strip that leads and runs near the property line. And taking a look at this, you can actually see for yourself the terrain that's involved in this case. This is a crime scene. This is probably the biggest crime scene I've ever seen, and now making an attempt to work. But as you can see, this is very rugged terrain. And for where this house sits on top of a mound, on top of a hill, with all of this sloping down to the lower area, this is a very large area. Extremely large. Let me move in a little bit closer. You can see this is what the TBI, the search and rescue team, EquiSearch, and all the other personnel from the sheriff's, Hawkins County Sheriff's Office has had to deal with over the last 40 days. That and then some. Here, as you can see, let me go back to a bird's eye view and pop back a little bit. I wanted to know from a standpoint, this main route right here, let me light it up for you. That goes right past the house, or that goes past the huge parcel of the house or parcel of the residential area. And as this begins to light up, my computer's running a little slow. You'll see the blue line indicating that highway, that main strip, the one that Chris took to get to the residence when he did the interview with Candace just days ago. Let's take a closer look. At his drive along this highway, along this strip, and hopefully this won't lag too much. seeing the open terrain as you see it before you. Let me see if I can straighten this out a little bit. There we go. Yeah, this is taking a little bit longer than I expected. Let me see if I can go up here a little bit. This is the terrain in this particular area, both left and right sides. I want you to pay careful attention because I will have questions as we proceed. Okay, this is really lagging. I may have to come back up again. Because I don't want to be here all night. Look how rugged that terrain is. Hills and valleys, rolling hills. This is to Summer Wells's house. I may have to recalibrate this a little bit. Hopefully it won't lag too much. But this is the strip that Chris took going to the property to do that interview. This is really lagging. Oh my goodness. All right, let me see if I can. Maybe change this. Okay. I think I'm getting somewhere. Nope. Yeah, this is really lagging. But let me see if I can work through it, folks. You know me. But I wanted you to get an idea. As Chris tried to give us an idea, I think he did an excellent job. No doubt. For him taking the time to ride this road himself. Yeah, this is really lagging. Okay. But with your own eyes, as you can see it, could someone in broad daylight abduct a child, cover this terrain without being seen? Could they really do it? Chris talked about the risk factor that's involved. He took us through a risk assessment. Circumstances, opportunity, capacity, a good checklist on what to look for, especially in an area so open, but yet so apparent. There's no homes out here, as you can see on this strip line, up until we get further down, because everything is so scattered, so far apart. But as he proceeded to go down this street, this road, which is only two ways, you begin to get a very good idea as to what the authorities to work with and had to deal with in looking for a missing 5-year-old that for some strange reason got off the property and ended up going missing. One of the major questions is that was brought up in the news report. I believe Donald Wells had mentioned that he believed right away that there was an abduction, that someone took Summer from the residence. That was his gut feeling. That was how he laid it out. And I said, wow. I said, why would he think abduction so quickly when the police just started searching the area? Maybe she couldn't be too far. But as the investigation proceeded, the more and more they worked to search for Summer, the more and more I began to think the same thing. Maybe she was abducted. But if she was abducted, who abducted her and for what reason? As you see the sign here that we just passed, we know that there's a break coming in just up ahead on the road. And we're just getting through this, folks. We'll get through it because there are certain things I want you to see here in tonight's live. And we're just following the path that Chris McDonough from the interview room had shown us he had taken. Big shout out to Chris, much love him and his family for doing that, because this was the most important part, I believe, that he really needed to cover so that we could all see it for ourselves, so that we could all begin to put together the bigger pieces that were missing out of this whole thing. All we heard was statements. We heard statements from Donald Wells. We heard statements from Candace Bly. We heard statements from little Hunter, the 15-year-old that went swimming with Summer. Allison's statements during the time Hunter was interviewed by Chris. I think the way he handled it and developed rapport with the folks that he interviewed was absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. But here I want to stop because I believe Chris did mention to us that there was a shed here. So I'm going to ask a question here and now to begin tonight's live. How many sheds does Donald Wells own? Was it stated? Was it mentioned? Does anyone know that number? Because later on, as we get to the resident, we do see a shed. And I believe that was the shed that Candace did not want Chris to take a look at during the time he was there. Just Star says 3. So my question is, how many sheds are there on this property that Donald Wells owns? Okay, we've got Black Angel says 1, Cat Eyes says 3, Kimberly says 2, Carly Red Robin says 3. Any other numbers? Nay says 4. Welcome, Nay, my other moderator. Thank you for being here tonight. At least 3. You can see 2 by the house, okay? Uprising says 2. Tragedy reported by BW, 4. Okay. Could this be one of the sheds on the property? Could this be one of the sheds on the property line? Taking a closer look at its layout, was this one of the sheds that Chris showed us during his drive up here? Wow. This looks like a little kennel area here. We have an open area in the shed here. Looks like it's fenced off here. There's a chair out here. Looks like the entrance to the shed here. This is not a big shed, but big enough to be seen. Firewood in the back here. Also, there is a camper here. Did we see that before? Was there an additional camper on the property as well? As I continue to keep going here, it looks like this is really not too far from the main strip. I'm getting some no's in there. I did not see that one. Okay, no. Okay. Okay, Chris's wife zoomed in on the shed with the camera, but it didn't look like that one, Stone Cold says. Okay. All right, but we do have a shed here. It is plain as day, along with a camper that is settling on the property here. Firewood. It could be a garbage can. But this is right by the area that Chris drove by. That's right with the dirt road leading up to it. However, this one's got a gate. It looks like a gate here. A gated fence blocks anyone from coming in. And there's a fence post here. Looks like a very thin wired fence post. Runs alongside the area. But this is that dirt driveway. Comes right to the road. So let us continue. Let's keep that one. Let's keep that in mind. Who knows? Maybe Google is playing with our eyes. But I know that Chris had shown us that there was some kind of a shed there in that location right up off of his drive to Ben Hill Road. As we come, we see an intersection here to the left, but I want you to continue looking at the terrain as well, because as we get closer, you'll begin to see how rugged this area is. Phenomenal footage that Chris's wife was able to take while driving along this road to the residence. And here we have that sign that indicates to us that there is a road up ahead to the right of this road that's going to begin breaking right. We see the guardrails on the side of the street, on the side of the road here. And in looking at that guardrail, when Chris was driving down this road, I found it very interesting to say that there's anyone who would stop here for any reason whatsoever, it would be safe for them to stop because there's really no room, no shoulder area for them to pull over. So it wouldn't be a good idea for anyone to try to pull over on this road, not unless they had a flat tire, they got stuck. Then they would have to be noticed because they'd have to put on their hazard lights and be seen. So Chris was pointing out the fact that to the right of the road, it drops and dips. There seems to be a very, very small water creek here, maybe an inch or two, give or take, running alongside the road as we progress. Chris also gave us a shot of what it is looking up to try to see if the house can be seen from the road from this point. I'll go down a little bit further because we're about to come to Ben Hill Road in a few seconds. We take a pause here for a second, take another look, and see if we see White's End, or at least a piece of where the grandmother's camper was. This is really thick. And as you can see, you have to really look up. So we also know that there's a drop here, a huge drop. Chris had mentioned it drops off dramatically. So if you fell, you actually fell rolling down that terrain. Let me go down a little bit further. Still with the guardrail on the right-hand side of the road. This begins to open up without a guardrail, so we'll proceed to notice how far down that is. Let's have another look. And my Google Earth here is only going to show us but what we can see. I'm just trying to pivot this to where we can see the skyline up here until it turns completely green or brown. That would indicate the hill. But let us proceed. And as we approach this particular spot here, we're keeping an eye on both the right and the left-hand side. Now, someone could possibly pull their vehicle up in one of these nook areas here to the left, since there's no guardrail that would prevent them from doing so. Let's take a look. And it is on a dip. There is a slant there. But here we have a flat surface just before the guardrail. So someone can actually park here on the left side, not very far from the property line, across the road, to the property line in which the house sits. I don't know what that is. That looks like something here in this area. Okay. I'm just trying to take a little glimpse of the chat as I do this, so bear with me if I don't get to any of your comments right away. I'm trying to get as far down to the point Chris got us to, because that's where we'll have to make a change. But yeah, this is quite some road. Let's take a look over here. Could someone pull off on the shoulder here? This also begins to look like it dips down. So it's not much room for a car to actually be horizontal on this road without that car on a dip side of the road, as you can see it. Not until you get down to the guardrail on the right down the road where it's flat over here. So that would be an opportune area. that someone could pull over and possibly park temporarily. Someone knew something. I couldn't right away buy the fact that this was a stranger abduction. I didn't buy that right away. I did my homework. I started taking a look at this road here, and I said, no, someone with no knowledge of this area here. No one deals in uncertainty, especially with what they did with Summer. And here, Ben Hill Road, the road that takes us to the residence. Let me come back over here. Now, Google Earth will not let me obviously go up that road like Chris did. But this is a start point. Chris did mention that the house over here, this area here had dogs. In this area here. So if this area had enough dogs, obviously, and he noticed them and they came out barking, it gives us at least an alert sign to say, if you come back on this road for some strange reason, and the dogs may hear something or sense something that they haven't sensed that bothers them, they would start barking. And I believe Chris said that when he passed this particular area, he heard the dogs barking. I think when he came back, he didn't hear them barking. But this is Ben Hill Road. Begins to line up, go straight up, and this is a one-way road path. One way. So if there was a vehicle in front of you coming the opposite direction, one of you would have to definitely give up the road in order for the other to pass. Okay, so with that said, what did we find out here? We found out about the terrain. It is very rugged here from the highway, here from the strip point of view, the main strip that leads to Ben Hill Road. We find out that there's very scarce spaces that one could pull over in a car to perhaps park temporarily because of the guardrails and because of how narrow the road is itself. The foliage of the trees on both left and right-hand sides, very, very dense on both sides, even in broad daylight. Did anyone also notice something very interesting? I'm sure you picked up on it. I see that there's a path here that goes straight up to the left. Did anyone notice something very interesting while we went down this road? If you were driving this road during the day, this is what you would see. Obviously. What if you were driving at night? Did you notice that there is not a single light post or lamp post to illuminate the roads out here? Keep that in mind. Yeah, there are no street lights. So if you were traveling this road by night, the only light there would be is probably the high beams of your headlights from your car riding on this road. Keep that in mind. The only sign we come to here that Chris had found was a dead end sign. However, not necessarily a dead end, because Chris took his truck drove his truck all the way and followed the path all the way until the path took him to the driveway of where Candace and Donald Wells live, where Summer Wells live. So with that said, coming out of here and with the, hopefully with the courtesy that Chris has given everybody in reference to sharing his information, I hope that he doesn't mind us sharing his information here tonight. Let's take a look at how Chris got up this Ben Hill Road. I'm going to cue that up, and we're only going to go over certain parts of it, since we've covered that road area, some of the terrain, both on left and right-hand sides. This is queuing up, folks. Yes, we're going to wait. Which was very important because this becomes a part of the case profile. Everything that we've seen is part of an area that's attached to the crime scene, if that makes sense. You'd have to include it. Because if someone did have a car, use that road, it would definitely become part of the investigation as well. Because as we can see, as we saw, there's only one way in and most certainly one way out. And that road, Ben Hill Road, is it. Oh, this is really buffering real good, but it's coming up. Good work always takes a little time, folks. But while it's doing that, let me see. Okay. All right. Thank you all so much for coming out. Miss Crystal Moore, thank you for joining us.
I listened to Search and Rescue guys.
I think that's Chris trying to now. Let me just pause that so it stop buffering.
They put so many resources that
okay, it should start to clear up a little bit. I think I have it where I need it. More welcome for joining.
You know, I'm really surprised they haven't, if in fact that was a scenario, they haven't discovered her yet. However, that said, it doesn't mean that it's not a possibility still on the plate. However, the other side of that coin, okay, is this road, stranger abduction problem. Again, I go back to high risk for the offender. This is a very high risk road to go up because, number one, the moment you drive up that street, it says dead end. Now, either A, you have to know this geographic terrain. Okay. Two, you have to be extremely comfortable with this terrain, because if you're going to go up there and take a risk as high as this is, i.e. abducting a 5-year-old child, okay, then it is.
And for those of you who are joining us, this is Chris McDonough from the interview room, who happened to have taken a trip, a physical trip, out to Summer Wells's house, covered the road terrain to give us an idea as to what to expect when going to Donald Wells's home where Summer lived. How he got there and his perspective, his investigative insight, looking at how he was able to travel to get to the house and putting together different pieces of information to say if someone called an abductor was a part of this crime, what are the risks involved? And so he's taking us through a risk assessment checklist, as he did, in a beautiful way, kept it simple, kept it in 1, 2, 3, and then told us the reasons why. And then started producing what I call it as investigative thinking to help us along the way to understand what we are seeing. So once again, my hat's off to Chris for doing that, but let him continue as we progress.
Is extremely plausible that the suspects within the region of this target set, what we call a contact site. Okay? So the hypothesis here is if she came down that road and a stranger was there, the timing of that would have to be almost the universe 100% on schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because you'd have to have the suspect looking for her on target. And most children, 64% of them, are abducted off of their bicycles. Okay? It's rare, very rare for a suspect, okay, just to pull up in a dead end area, or at least a sign that says dead end, and then, pull her out. Now, unless it's planned, of course, that is a possibility.
Yes.
Okay? So that's still on the plate. Okay? That said, watch this road. Turn back around. It's really rugged, very rugged, actually.
Isolated.
It's very isolated. And so what I want to show you here is going back up to Summer's driveway and look at the woods and the terrain here. Boy, these folks have been really working this area. It's extremely, there's a creek down here. This is very rough. And coming up here on the side is, the driveway. They got tires here. People can't pull over, no parking, tollway. But this is Summer's house, or at least the driveway up to the house. And you can tell.
Right here is the bottom end entrance, driveway entrance directly to the house. And just in front, it's almost transparent though, but at some point you can see it. There is a chain link fence here. This is what was called the gate. The gate was the chain link fence. So for Candace or Donald or whoever either was going in or coming out, they would have to unlink this gate or this link chain in order to enter and exit. I wanted you to see this because now we have to go to where Chris went, which will begin our walkthrough. So if everyone is ready, let us begin because we're going to get in depth here. type of 1 in the room if we still have good sound and everyone can hear the video pieces that I am playing. Just type of 1 real quick so we can proceed. That will allow me to jump to the video portion I want to get to. Very good. Wow, we got 200 and change up in here. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you. Well, that number's going up. Well, thank you. Thank you all. This is queuing up. That's not it. Now it's queuing up. Okay. This is a part. I hope this is it. Yeah. I have to stop it in order to start it again. I'll wait because I have windows open, that's why. So be very patient. We're going to get to the point of tonight's live in just a few moments. Okay, it's queuing up. There, everything's starting to shine its light. Hey, Doug. Thank you for joining us. No thanks investigates. We got Doug in the house. Okay, come on. We are getting there.
Okay, I'm gonna film
Okay.
around this side. Now walk
Okay.
me through.
Okay, we're getting there. We finally got the video up. Okay. So we're starting at the driveway, and we're going to, Chris, take us up that driveway into the area. If I can find that, jump to it. Because this begins walking the grid, as I would call it. Still queuing up, just give me a moment. I'll try to get to, all right, I think I found it. I think I had it all queued up. Okay. Okay, we will begin here. Pay careful attention. Even though you may have seen this before. Here's Chris driving up to the residence. As you can see how steep his truck is, just climbing this driveway to the flat end of the driveway. And what do we hear right away? What did you hear right away? This is flag number 1. Without a doubt. A main piece of the crime scene is how and what the crime scene is. And in this particular area, we have dogs. Now, it was said that there were 8 dogs here. I think there were a little bit more, but let's stay with the number 8 from what was reported. This is the first experience arriving at the residence, and as soon as Chris gets out of his truck, he's got dogs all over the place. Now, Chris is a stranger. He's never been here before. But yet, this is his experience. So here, for any stranger to have approached this particular area on the residence, they were bound to be faced with the sound of dogs barking. Dogs naturally do that, especially if they don't know you. So on the checklist, we've got dogs barking, which begins now. We're beginning now to focus on the stranger abduction theory. If it was a stranger, would the stranger experience what Chris just got finished experiencing? My answer is yes. My answer is yes. Let's continue. Now, the second thing that Chris notices here as he walks over to where the camper is, the grandmother's camper trailer, is the fact that this part of that area where he's at drops completely off into the tree foliage. So there is a very, very steep hill just right in this area next to Grandma's camper, her trailer. And it was interesting that he walked over here as a second point of covering the grounds, is because this is what jumped out at him. To see the terrain in this specific location, and to also be able to see the road that we just came off of down in the ravine area over here. They also state that there was a small creek that's also down below as well. But this area here drops right into the forest area here, the very dense forest area before you get back to the highway. So this was point number 2. Point number 3, the residential terrain. Now, this is what I was hoping that would be cleared up, but no one has cleared this up yet, so I'm going to do it tonight. We are near 40 days or so into this investigation of Summer Wells being missing. The first 13 days, there was a massive search of the residential area and areas leading up to almost 3,000 acres of land had been covered in the first 13 days. This is with TBI. This is with the sheriff's office. This is with the search and rescue. There's a lot of people out here looking for a 5-year-old. And I'm sure that as many of us that watches true crime stories or watches true crime movies or crime and suspense movies, when the police come to search a residence or a location, is it always neat when they leave? Yes or no? In any cinematic movie that you've seen where there is a crime scene, and well over 50 to 100 to 150 police officers, personnel, emergency service people are on location, and a lot of them doing what they do best, their jobs. And especially when you have a large search team as big as the one that we have for Summer Wells, have the authorities ever left a neat search area? No. So we have to take into consideration that the massive search team that was assembled and put together to do a 13-day search for Summer Wells, starting from this contact point, this would be the central point, the nucleus of the case. Well, obviously, we can see evidence of everything pertaining to a search. I wouldn't doubt in my mind in any way, shape, or form that Candace and Donald and Grandma had anything to do with what we're looking at right now. You'd have to consider that. You have to put that into perspective. You had a large number of people on your property searching for a 5-year-old. Do you think they would turn everything, put everything, locate everything, so that this way the authorities and officials, their superiors, would know that a particular area or particular spot was searched? In the way they coordinate and conduct a search, they put everything in one area, as you see here next to the camper. We've got totes, we've got boxes, we've got all kinds of, it looks like interior paraphernalia, if you will, furniture, you name it. It's all out here in front of Grandma's trailer. Obviously, looking at this for the very first time, it would be a fire hazard. Why didn't they clean that up? That would be your assumption. But we just had a major, massive search performed in this area. And so by me looking at this particular video footage and studying it the way I have, I would definitely have to incorporate and include and consider that since a massive search was performed, this is how it was left. Let's continue. I just wanted to make sure everybody understood that.
Okay.
And as you can see, Chris's motion coming in front. We do that again, because this is going to play a very important part as to the piece I'm going to connect later. Let's go back for a second. I want you to watch the motion, the body motion, according to the camera showing us, how Chris is moving in this particular area. He's near the camper, but watch him now. He's stepping forward into the drive area right here. And he's not too far from the camper. In fact, he's right directly in front of the camper. He's got dogs still barking. But in Chris's vantage point right here, do you think Chris can see the front of Candace's home where the doorway is? Yes or no? Can Chris see the front of Candace's home? Standing in front of the camper, Grandma's camper area where we saw all of that stuff. Absolutely not. Okay, good. I need you to keep this vantage point in mind. It's going to play a very important part in walking the grid tonight. Let us continue. This is a blind spot. Now Chris proceeds to walk back near the front now of the home.
You know, I have much more respect for what you're telling me by standing here.
Yeah.
And I've got my little camera here. But I'm looking at this terrain and I'm going, holy cow, she could have even, there's a million possibilities here down there. And there's
the camper or the trailer where Chris just got finished walking from when he picked up that blind spot. So if his camera picked it up, anyone standing where he was would also be able to see that as well. So let us continue.
the road down there.
Yeah,
Oh, this is really doing a buff cake on me.
that's my mom's house.
He takes Candace and goes back
This right here,
to the area he
Usually
started
you can
in.
see the road because they have went through here and mowed
Okay.
and took down a bunch of stuff away from the power lines.
okay.
But usually it's full up. You can't even see the road.
That day though, how was it? Was it full up or
They
was it like this?
actually, that day and a few days prior to that, they were working on this.
Okay.
So
And
I've even come to a conclusion maybe one of them people have snatched it
Oh, interesting.
because they were all the way up here. On
Yeah,
my
I
property.
see those the path down there. I see
Yeah.
the tracks down there.
Yep.
Over there.
And they were all the way up here to my light pole.
Okay. And you told TBI all this,
I've
right?
told TBI this, yes.
Okay. Okay. And yeah, I can see the cars going by. That is not far from your property.
Mm-mm.
Is there a holler down there? I mean, is there a river of some sort?
The creek runs all the way around my
And-
property.
And how deep is a creek? Okay, just so it's like an inch
Yeah.
or two. Okay.
You'd be lucky to get wet enough to do anything.
Okay. All right. So let's pick it up from where, and I'm going to just use this little one as.
Okay. I want you to take a look at the vantage point once again. We have the trailer to the left. We have the house to the right in front of us. And watch carefully. I want you to watch where Chris and Candace walked. And for someone to be a suspect, possible suspect in this case, because that's what the sheriff's department said, everybody's a suspect, for Candace to have allowed Chris there at the residence on the property to do a walkthrough and to explain her story. That's what Chris is actually there for. He wants her to walk through her story while we're actually watching it. He wants to also see how well she remembers the story in which she told. So this is the reason for the walkthrough. Thank you so much, Chris, for doing this because you've given me eyes to see as well. Let's continue.
Is that okay? Okay. So from when you got home, now
No,
she's
My
leaning.
mom's truck parks here.
Okay, your mom's truck's right here.
Yes.
Okay, so when she's leaning against the milk. Is she
Yes.
sleeping?
She was sleeping, yes.
Okay. From exhaustion from that day?
Yes, she
Okay.
was. Where I woke her up early and she usually sleeps until 9, 10, even 12 o'clock if I let her.
Okay. How did the milk bottles get rearranged? Hunter said he had them on the floor and then he put them next to him.
They weren't
Is that
on,
true?
no.
Okay, so walk me through that.
When we dropped them off, they were actually still on his lap.
Okay.
And he put them on the other side of Summer.
Okay. So he reached over?
Yeah, he set them over there by that. What's a black tote she had in there?
Okay. Was there where's that tote at?
I think actually my mom's got it still in her truck. It's got a bunch of crafts and stuff in it.
Okay, got it. And now from when you pulled up, did she just fall asleep next to that?
She fell asleep, I'd say maybe 5 minutes on the road.
Okay, got it. And then, so walk me through, you get home, you take the groceries inside. Is Don home, by the
actually,
way?
No. He's
Okay,
not.
okay.
Look at the vantage point once again. We saw the camper to the left. Let me just show you that piece one more time. There it is. Watch the extreme body turn that Chris has to make in order just to turn to see the front of the house. Pay very careful attention because this isn't just natural, normal speed. It's to his extreme left.
Hold up. When did she just
Now
fall
you can
asleep
see from
next to
his
that?
vantage point, he's a full 180 degrees straight. Yet you cannot see the doorway. You can just see the front porch area of the house. You cannot see the door. Where Candace is standing, she can't see the door, nor the kitchen inside the house. Keep that in mind.
She fell asleep, I'd say maybe 5 minutes down the road.
Okay. Got it. And then, so walk me through, you get home, you take the grocery inside. Is Don home, by the way?
No, he's
Okay.
not.
Okay.
Actually, I parked the truck and I opened both doors. It's really hard because this lawnmower is. But I opened the doors up and I shook her. I said, "Wake up, we're at home." She jumped right up.
Okay.
Like nothing. I unbuckled her and I said, "Come on." I said, "Mom, I'll be right back." I went in there and you got the boys and they were sitting at the table.
The boys were sitting inside the house at the table. Yet from this vantage point, you don't see that, do you? Only if you go to the doorway could you see it, and that would make sense. But from this vantage point, I just want to let you keep that in perspective now, because she's over here with Grandma, helping Grandma with her brace, her leg brace. Remember that point.
And I said, "Come on, let's get the groceries out." And we brought them all in the house, went through them all, did all that.
And this is that's her swing.
That's her swing right there.
Come show me her swing. Why is this, and who's this?
That is Smoking Boots. That's my boys' cat.
And how many dogs do you have here on the property? About?
Honestly, I don't know because people just keep dropping them off.
Hi. I know.
Now you see the dog in front of us. You see two dogs, one laying down, one coming up the hill there. But that's how steep this particular area of the residence is. And right between both these dogs is a tree, the infamous tree that has a tree swing. There's a disc right there. But it's very steep over in this area. You can't even see the driveway coming up to the house up until Chris gets a little closer.
Okay. Sorry. So this is her swing.
That's her swing.
This is her playground.
Yep.
And she loved this area. Boy, you know,
I want to point out something here too. The area in which the swing is, that we see little Summer Wells swinging back and forth on that video, out here in the open, is actually that. Her swing is located out here in the open. Summer is visible to anyone who may be in this area here. She would be visible, even looking up from this particular area. If you were behind the bushes, near the bushes, in the brush, you'd still have a clear eyesight or line of sight to see Summer swinging on the swings. No matter what direction you come from, or no matter what direction you're looking at, you would still see her out in the open. Keep that in mind. This area here plays a very important part. Let's continue.
I'm looking at this, and this terrain, Candace, just strikes me as being so dense and just. Is that they say the dog trail? Where's this dog trail thing?
Even in this area here, as he turns more to the left and captures more of the terrain, he's also capturing more of the terrain and items, vehicles, all the way up near that driveway. So even if someone was in this area in the terrain, they could see Summer swinging on her swing on the tree.
I'm not sure, honestly.
There's so many of them.
The dogs go in every different
Yeah, I
way.
saw the dogs came out of the
Yeah,
woods as we were pulling up.
Yeah,
Okay.
they do that all the time.
Okay.
That trail right there, my boys, they ride those dirt bikes that are leaning against the truck over there.
Okay.
You can see there's one of them.
Okay.
And they
Those are like 50 cc's, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, at a vantage point, you can see trailer in the background, doorway here, the front area of the trailer and the door, vantage point to the front area of the house, steps going up to the front of the door. Chris knew exactly what he was doing, where he was going, and how he was standing to capture the terrain facing this way.
Yeah,
That one ain't. I think it's only like 25, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, they go down that trail with their dirt bikes and then come back up on the road, up on the driveway and go around and stuff.
What was it about this swing that is just so important for her?
She liked it. She just liked to swing. All the kids did.
Now, I don't want to talk about the boys right now because I know that's, you know, a tough nut part of your heart. Okay. Yeah. And that's none of my business.
Right.
I'm not here for any of it. You know what I mean? I'm not here to judge anybody. Right.
Right.
I'm here to talk about Summer and help you find Summer. Okay. And help anybody help find her. Okay. That messaging. Okay. So you go into the house.
Go in the house.
Can I follow you in, or do you comfortable with that?
And she didn't say anything. It sounded like she said something there for a second. I thought she said no. But she didn't resist when Chris asked her about coming behind her to go into the house.
And that's none of my business.
Right.
I'm not here for any of it. You know what I mean? I'm not here to judge anybody. Right. I'm here to talk about Summer and help you find Summer. Okay. And help anybody help find her. Okay. That messaging. Okay. So you go into the house.
Go in the house.
Can I follow you in, or do you comfortable with that? Huh?
I don't know what about doing. It's still the cat food.
And is this they're going to attack me?
No.
Oh, I was just I'm teasing you. The dog's going to attack me. So this is the scaffolding you're talking about.
Yeah, that's my.
Okay, so she comes up, jumps up, and goes right in.
Yep.
Okay. How many cats? You know what? You should have like a zoo license. You know, I'm seeing all kinds of.
Okay. As you can see, now that we're inside of the home at the doorway, this is what appears in front of Chris. I want you to take a careful look. Items to the left, items down the wall on the left. Remember, I talked to you in the Cash Gurning case that a crime scene is three-dimensional. It's what's on the floor, what's alongside the walls. It includes the ceiling. Tells us how high everything is, how low the ceiling is to the floor, etc., etc. But there is a lot of furniture in this area, including a refrigerator, what appears to be a refrigerator, along with cup and flowers, and we got the flags over here, possibly on a window to cover a window, air conditioner on the left here. We've got items here just all over the place. And for someone just visiting for the very first time, this could take your breath away. But once again, remember, this home was searched thoroughly, extensively. And so things may be out of place. Just keep that in mind. Things may be out of place. And Candace and Donald and Grandma probably is just starting to put things back in their natural order during the time that this was shot. Let's continue.
No.
Of critters, which is good. Okay, where's Summer's bed?
Oh, it's in the basement.
Got it. Okay. So what happens when she comes in? The boys are playing where?
No, the boys are actually sitting here.
Okay.
And they're actually sitting right here at the table watching TV.
Once again, stepping into another area where we see chaos. Obviously, things all over the place. On top of the table, on top of the counter, in and around the front area here. Wires or what appears to be maybe a pipe, could be a pipe and wires, combination thereof. Air conditioner in here. It's just taking into account that this area was searched.
Okay, so they're at the table watching TV.
They
Okay.
were all locked in. Nobody could get in. Nobody could get out. Kind
Okay.
of thing.
Now who's this on up here?
That's my little sister that's missing.
Oh, that's Rose.
That's Rosie.
Oh, wow. Wow. And who's the guy?
That's her ex-husband.
Wow. Do you think he had anything to do with that?
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, we don't want to go there.
Okay. One of the beautiful things in watching Chris works is that he keeps rapport going with Candace. Okay, he's not there in front of Candace in her eyes as a police investigator. If you notice that, he is building rapport with her just like someone across the street, one of the neighbors, one who's known her for quite some time. And, to keep that kind of a rapport in order for Chris to show us what he is showing us in this video piece is amazing. And this is great detective work, investigative work at its best. It's when you can keep rapport with another person to elicit the truth, elicit the right information, to get accurate information as well, without pushing and without an attitude adjustment, because he's not prying. He's not asking hard questions. He's just keeping a flow going. So much props to you on that, Chris.
Can't say.
How's
Yes
your
or
mom
no.
deal with that?
It's difficult.
Yeah, I know. You know I know, right? So, okay, watching TV, where's Summer?
Summer, she was with me.
Okay, so walk me through that.
All right. Well, we walked up in here and we got Josie, Wyatt, and Waylon, the boys.
Right,
Well,
you put the groceries down, right?
Yeah. Well, we went back out and then brought the groceries in and put them down. And then Mom, she went and took her stuff to her.
Okay, vantage point again. Chris has to make a hard right turn coming out of the doorway in order for him to see the trailer once again.
Her house, put her stuff away.
Okay,
And then, of course, me and Summer went back over, put our stuff away.
okay. You went back in.
Yeah, me and Summer went back in the house. And then we were just doing normal stuff
Okay,
around the house like we normally do. And I come out, Mom was sitting there at the time I come out and I'm standing here. I
okay.
was like, what are you doing? What are you staring at? She's like, these plants, I gotta get them transplanted. I was like, well, Summer will help us. So I went back in. By that time, she was sitting on the floor playing with her toys.
Right here?
No, in the kitchen where we were just at.
Okay.
She was actually sitting on the floor playing with the toys at that time. I said, Summer, you want to help plant flowers? And she jumped up, left her toys and us. Of course. That's cool.
Yeah,
Then we
well,
walked
that's
over
what kids do. It's their job.
Right?
As it appears, Candace is to the left of Chris, and Chris has got a steady straight shot at the trailer. But notice how Candace is walking. She's walking almost like if she's coming from the left all the way over in front of Chris. So this is a very sharp right turn out of the doorway of the front doorway area of the residence in order for them to almost swing around more than 45 degrees in order to see the front of this trailer clearly.
Okay.
We walked over here and we transplanted these cactuses from the little pots that they were in. And transplanted these ones here into this bigger pot and that one into that bigger pot. And then she took the rocks that we've gotten from different gem mines when we went up to Gatlinburg and stuff.
Okay.
And she's the one that spreaded all the rocks around in here. And then she put her puppies in him. She wanted Chase in there, you know.
Okay.
That was cool.
Where are those puppies now?
What do you mean?
Oh, the little puppies.
The little,
ruins.
yeah, these little.
Oh yeah, those little guys. Oh, that's Paw Patrol.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the police one.
Yep, that's Chase. He's always on the case.
Okay. Okay.
We
Oh, I see another one over here.
She put him in there. Yep, you're on the case.
Okay. Don't take those out, okay?
No, I leave them right there.
I know.
And then we went in my mom's way. We can't get in there.
Yeah, that's fine. Went in there.
And got some candy and stuff. She gets some grandma.
Okay.
And I said, well, I'm going to go back over to the house.
Look at the angle.
So I say I go back, you know.
Okay.
And
Now, remember, Chris is standing almost directly in front of that camper door, but as he turns his body to the right, watch the angle between the trailer and the house. This is going to play a very important part in tonight's live. Bingo. This is the second time we see the same angle. You do not see the front of the doorway to the residence, nor do you see inside the residence into the kitchen. Every time Candace had to come from her mother's camper, she had to angle out more to the right in order to begin walking to the front of that doorway.
I literally walked over to here.
You see where she's coming from? There's a walk up a little bit to get to see the front of the house.
Like literally walked right in here where I could see the boys and on the kitchen table.
Got them.
And I watched her walk in there. And afterwards, when she was already in there, I walked over and said, "Quiet." And he looked at me and I said, "Watch Sissy, I'll be right back." And that's when I walked back over to my mom's.
Okay.
And I was fixing her brace and stuff like that. And I said, "Well, Mom, I got to go back over with the kids." And that's when I come back up into the house.
Okay.
With the boys.
Okay. You walked into the house.
Okay. Now remember, Candace walked Summer to the front door, watched her go into the house, told the boys to watch Summer, and what did she do? She walked back out, back to where her grandmother was, her mother, to help her mother with the knee brace. Now, she said it took about maybe 2 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, but then again, she threw in there. I really can't remember. I really don't know. Could have been less, could have been more. So she wasn't being accurate there. So it could have taken longer. Who knows? Mama's in pain. They went to the pharmacy. She may have taken her pain medicine for her knee at that time. Here you are. You're putting on a leg brace, and she had to feel uncomfortable in some way, shape, or form. And sometimes when there's edema or swelling of the legs or whatever it is that the grandmother suffered, it does take some time, especially a knee brace, to put on. So it could have taken more than 5 minutes. My guesstimation, I believe it took more than 5 minutes. And that 5 minutes. Sorry about that. And in those 5 minutes, with her back to the house, and she's paying more attention on helping her mother with the leg brace on the right leg. What do you think both of these women are looking right now in the 5 minutes that Candace reveals to us? Are they looking at the terrain? Are they looking at the house? Are they looking at the dogs or the sky or Summer's swing? I think the majority of you would say no. They would be looking at what's in front of them, which is the leg brace. Those things do need undivided attention to get on. So you've got grandma sitting or standing, or however which way they put the leg brace on, looking down at Candace, watching her put on the leg brace to make sure that it was fitting properly. And Candace, whether she was on the ground or kneeling down or putting it on standing up, has got her eyes on the leg brace so that she can see what she's doing in making sure that there's a secure fit and everything is fine. We have to consider that in the equation and keep that in mind. And with both women occupied with that leg brace, which could have taken 2 minutes, 5 minutes, or slightly more than that, the eyes are off the front door of the house, aren't they? The boys are occupied on the internet or on YouTube or watching TV. They're occupied. And sometimes brothers and sisters don't keep an eye on each other, especially when they're told to anyway. Their minds are engaged in what they're doing. So who's to say, rather than an abductor coming into the house on that 5-minute blind spot, what's to say if Summer was in the house, what's to say Summer didn't exit the house at the time the 5-minute blind spot for the boys and Candace and Grandma were occurring at that moment? Could Summer have just slipped out and went around the house? I think Chris talked about possibilities to probabilities, give or take 5 minutes, because it only takes seconds for a child to go missing, right? Well, what's to say that didn't happen here, is my point. Keep that in mind and consider that point.
Get up. I walked in here and them three were sitting right here in a row with their eyes glued to the TV, like always. And I said, boys, where's your sister at? Well, she just went downstairs, Mom, to play. So I went over here like this, because this is where the stairs are.
Okay.
It's actually down under there.
Oh, down into her
Down into
bedroom.
our bed.
Now, I'm sure that when everybody saw this, they were absolutely startled and amazed. When we think of going downstairs to a basement, we're looking for a doorway. Doorway you open up, handrails on the side, a light switch, and steps. Anywhere between 14 to 16 steps to go down to a standard basement is what you would look for. I'm sure this blew Chris's mind when he saw that this is the way downstairs and what they had to do in order to get downstairs. But this is what we got, and this is what is there.
Bedroom, and then hers is on the other side.
Oh, okay, in the basement.
Yeah, in the basement.
Well, this makes sense now, see?
And then I yelled and I said, Summer, Summer. And she didn't. I listened for a minute. I didn't hear nothing. So I went like this, because this is how I would get down.
Now look how Candace absolutely, and she's done this thousands and thousands of times, she has to literally bend down and go in backwards, which I even found incredible. I said, who goes down to the basement backwards like that? Well, what is she getting into? And I'm sure Chris, it ran through his mind just watching her perform these body motions. Watch.
Down here.
Yep.
I don't know if you want to come down here or not.
Do I got to be tiny to get in there?
No, you should.
Can we come in from the other side?
Well, we can, but it'd make more sense if you went this way.
Okay, I'll follow you. Oh, man. Good grief,
No, I know
girl.
with my 6-foot hub that can fit down here, you can.
Huh?
And now Chris has to do the same thing. Maybe not all the way backwards, but you got to keep your eyes where you're going, obviously. She didn't turn on a light. so that they can both see where they're going. So this is all habitual movement, moving downstairs to an area called the basement. As you can see in front of us, Chris's camera is not picking up anything.
My husband's 6 foot. I know if he could pay, you can.
This
Until he gets here and then begins to see the beginnings of the basement. There's a TV that was left on, whether someone was there on the 15th and not there when they were doing the interview. I wouldn't think anything of it. What was on it? I think someone had mentioned Girls Gone Wild or something like that. And why would that be on TV? And, you know, it's just Candace there. And maybe she was watching it earlier. Because remember, Grandma's not there. The boys are not there. And most certainly Summer's not there.
way to go.
This is my husband's room.
Okay,
And over here, well, it's a mess again.
that's all right.
But this is where Summer and little Waylon was. Because Waylon's only 9.
Now, most people were shocked to see this particular location of the house because of how incredibly dense it is with furniture. It doesn't appear as though Candace reached for any kind of light to illuminate the area in which they entered. There is a window here to the left that is half covered. You've got a furniture item here. I think one of the content creators said, I know that can't be a bed. Oh my God, it's too small for a child to have a bed there. Most people use these items too for pets. They got dogs all over the place, but they have what is a pet bed? One of the pet groomers that I know here in New York, they can stack them. They can put them on the floor. They can be an open pet bed. It could be a bunk bed, pet bed. They come in all shapes and sizes and different forms and everything. So, I caught that and I said, well, no, that wouldn't be big enough to, any of the kids or anything. I know that Summer wouldn't be sleeping here up until we saw the bed over to the right on the floor that would indicate that that's possibly where Summer would sleep.
Okay.
And they stay down here. And these are all her toys, all her Paw Patrol,
All her movies. She's got a movie about the Savior.
The boys I brought back down here after.
This is a very small, condensed area. Furniture was probably taken out of here for reasons, most possibly we have to include the search that were perhaps taken outside. Perhaps some of that furniture is upstairs, maybe even outside. But we'll continue.
She went missing because I didn't want them upstairs by themselves anymore.
Okay. And this is all her toys.
These are all her toys. All these toys that are down here are dang, they're all hers, except for like the trucks and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the game system. That's the boys'.
Okay.
But them are all her toys.
And she's really into Paw Patrol. I see that.
Yeah, I've been collecting from day one. And these are all her little ponies that we've bought. And then these are them girls that she likes. Them new fashion, I don't know what they are, little princesses or whatever. She's like all kinds. Because sometimes
Just going to jump a bit.
Here and just sit here and play. I don't recall if this was locked or not. I don't recall that.
Okay.
Okay. She just confesses and admits that she cannot recall or remember whether that door was locked or not. She just said that to Chris, and I said, okay, as a flag there. Let's take a look at it one more time.
Looked under every blanket I could possibly look under.
Yep.
And then I come over here, and I look on both sides and stand and work. And I don't recall if this was locked or not.
I don't know if this was locked or not, and hence a red flag. She does not remember.
All that.
Okay.
But I know it's hard on her. But I know I did come out here and I said,
I wanted to stop it there because she quickly opens up that door, and where there's a single deadbolt at the top of the top area of the door, in this particular area, it's a twist lock. She seemed to have opened it up very, very quickly, opened up that door. Now, the door wasn't locked. You got a problem. Her not remembering whether the door was locked or not, that poses a problem. Summer being about 3 foot, 3¼ foot high. Does anyone think that Summer can open up that door? Yes or no? Just the way you saw Candace open up that door, do you believe that Summer, a 5-year-old, could open up that door just as well as Candace did? Yes or no? Just type it in the chat. Uprising says no. CME 92, no, she can't. Sword of the Spirit, no. Stone Cold says not sure. Nan Poplowski says yes. Deborah Sharp says nope. Yesterday, today, maybe. Dakota Ray, nope. Jennifer Marie, nope. Mary Gannett says yes. Amy says yes. Soul Survivor says yes. Can you rewind it? Says Boss Blake. I could do that, brother. Let's take one more look, because it is worth looking at. These are your flags. Watch carefully.
I don't recall if this was locked or not. I don't recall that.
Okay.
But I know it's hard on that. But I know I did come out here and I said, "So."
That quick. Turn the knob, and it's open. We've got no. Shaydoc says yes. Renee says yes. Misunderstood says nope. T says yes. Yes, my 5-year-old grandson can, Lisa says. Boss Blake says yes. Okay. Sweet Pea says yes. I don't think she could, Jennifer Marie said. Fire Mama says yes, my 3-year-old can do it. Jennifer, the artist, says yes. KK Alexa says yes. Ladybug says yes. She was 3 feet tall. Nothing to step on. 5-year-olds can open up doors. Yes, Aubrey says. Black Angel says yes. True Tragedy says, my 3-year-old granddaughter could. So the possibilities are there to say that Summer Wells could have opened up this door herself, whether it was locked or not. She has the height. The door is reachable. In fact, it's down to, you can see here, Candace's elbow. And Summer is going to slightly higher than that. Summer can stick out her arms and open up that door just like Candace did. The majority of you here are giving me yeses. Okay, let's continue. Keep that on your list. We're looking at all the possibilities to narrow it down to probabilities.
Summer, because sometimes she'll sit right here and just sit here and play, just, you know.
Now watch Chris. He pans to the right, and the first thing you see to the right, because the cylinder blocks, the brick cylinder blocks to the building are right here on the border. This is what he sees when he turns to the right. School bus, the truck, and the car. Open spot, high visibility. Very dense in this area here. Could someone have been watching from this location? Now I'm going to blow your mind. Watch this.
And usually when
You saw the wall to the right. Wooden beam of the building to the left. Now when Chris pans to the left, watch this.
she comes out and she goes, directly that.
When Chris pans to the left, does anyone see a full, clear view of the camper, Grandma's camper? Yes or no? Yes or no? Can you see it? Can you see that camper that Grandma is still outside sitting on the steps of that camper, or maybe even standing in front of the doorway, or maybe even bending down to add something to the plants? Everyone in the building says no. Hence, we have a problem. We have a major problem. And the problem we have is line of sight. Not even Grandma right now, if she was standing outside, could see anyone coming out of the door in the lower level area of this basement compartment where the building is. You couldn't see anybody coming out, could you? Now watch what happens again. We're gonna be getting real hot on this, folks, because this is the heartbeat of tonight's live.
Way up to the thing.
Okay, so this is like her.
Yeah, she
Where
just
she
walked.
come running out.
You see the terrain, the slope that goes from the outside. Now you see Chris has to step forward, maybe 1 or 2 steps. You see the slope terrain in front of us. Part of the driveway here to the left. Now watch what he has to do in order to take a look back on the side of the building.
Oh yeah, you can see the path here.
Right to the swing.
Right, you can see where she.
And now you can see the tree with the swing. So everything that we have watched from the side of this building here and everything down on this side is line of sight visibility to that tree and Summer Wells's swing. Every time she went on that swing, do you think anyone can see her, whether they were down the hill or on the side of the house? Let's continue. High visibility, high probability. We could see Summer from here too.
You could have run right up to
and this
here.
is all the further she would go. She wouldn't leave.
Okay.
She wouldn't go nowhere else.
Okay. I want to go around.
Here is another view. Now Chris can see the back of the building. He could see the doorway. But there's one thing Chris cannot see. Chris can't see that camper. He sees the driveway that leads to that camper, the same one he took to get to the house. But as we get to this point, it goes blind, folks. This is a major blind spot at this point and location of the residence. Watch the way Chris moves his body, and then you'll be able to see once again what I see.
On this side, what is this blue thing here?
Oh, that was.
Also line of sight. This is all up and down this driveway here. Anyone could be behind the bushes to get a better angle at that blind spot, come around, and then maneuver to the building, to that door. Remember, Candace couldn't recall or remember whether the door was locked or not. You have to take that under consideration. Let's continue. Watch Chris's motions.
We were putting trash in it,
Okay.
and we did have a trash man at the time.
Now you can see
Oh, wow.
from this angle parts of the back end of the trailer. Even at this angle, you couldn't see fully a clear line of sight to that trailer. So we do have a line of sight problem in this case. A visual line of sight, clear, for a 5-year-old that went missing.
Okay. I'm going to film around this side. Now walk me through, what's this little
Oh, that right there?
little cave thing there.
That's not really a cave. Actually, we built this addition, me and Donnie and the kids,
Oh,
and we left this part open because
I want you to watch carefully as they walk and ascend up the driveway again. The body position between the trailer and the house. That's going to be very important because that also plays a very important point, line of sight point in this equation.
the dog at the time we did have little puppies. These dogs were little puppies, and we let them go under there. They would run in and out of the bricks over there. There's actually 7 pups up under there now,
okay.
and it's always been open like that.
Okay, here we go. They're going to ascend up the driveway again from a steep slope.
Well, you can see after you've been here, you can see how mellow the dogs are.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, right?
Line of sight. You can't see the front porch area, the front door.
That's what they do. They're
And-
lazy.
They're kind of a Jack Russell. They got a little Jack
They're
Russell in it.
Jack Russell, yeah. Actually, the gentleman
Up
that we
until
had
Chris starts moving
over there in
again.
the other trailer across the creek actually has the mama to.
Now they're in the front. This is an issue. Let me break it down to you this way. I think we can see it from the perspective that I'm coming. Let's go here. Can everyone see that? Type of 1 in the room, because we're going to take a look at the same line of sight from an aerial view. Type of 1 in the room if you can see that. This is an aerial view of the trailer and the resident. And as you can see, my little orange line, if I was over there putting mom's brace on, which took me 2 to 5 minutes to do, I've got a blind spot and I've got a hard line of sight to that front door, don't I? Don't I? That's a major problem. In fact, let's take it one step. Okay, everyone can see that. Okay. You know me, when I get into investigating stuff, I look at stuff from top to bottom. And this is well worth your time to see because, like I said, no one has shown you this. But John Q. Anyway. Line of sight problem to the front door, according to this aerial shot. And if you can't see it, let me show you to you. Is that a problem? Yes or no? To you in your mind, I want you to answer that. I see it as a problem, but I want you to answer for yourself. Is this a problem? Yes or no? Put a yes in the box. Put a no in the box. Answer. Yes. Big problem. Uprising. Big problem. Misunderstood. Yes. Shaydock, yes. Stone Cold, yeah. Dakota, big problem. Charlene Stevens, yes. Saba, yes. KK Alexa, yes. Misunderstood, yes. Sword of the Spirit, yes. Soul Survivor, yes. Renee, yes. Love Keen, yes. Kimberly Earl, yes. True Tragedies, yes. This is a huge problem. You want to know what else is a problem? Let me show it to you again. Now we're getting hot. And this is going to start to boil. Same location. Line of sight. Do we still have that problem? Yes or no? Line of sight from the trailer. This is where Candace and Grandma are, remember? For the 2 to 5 minutes working that leg brace. Yes. Yes, most definitely. We've got 2 lines of sight problems in a 2 to 5 minute time ratio. Could a child go missing in that time ratio? Absolutely. Could Summer have gone missing in that time ratio with the line of sight blind spots on both sides of the building? Absolutely. Especially if she was coming out of the basement. And we can use that same 5 minutes because both women are occupied and occupied up here. So Summer could have came out the front 2 to 5 minutes, making adjustments to that leg brace. Summer could have tipped out the front. Remember, she was only wearing the pink top and the gray pants with possibly no shoes on. So who would hear her come out the front and swing around to the left end of the building and go this way? From this point around at a blind spot. Okay. Two blind spots. Severe line of sight blind spots. Let's kick it up a notch. You want me to kick it up a notch? Type of 1. Type of 1. Go ahead, John Q. Hit me again. Hit me again. Let me see what else you got, brother. You're starting to make some sense. Hit me again. From an aerial view, we have found 2 major blind spots. This is something TBI and everybody else don't want you to know. Well, let's get hit again. Watch this. Ready? Boom. And in that same blind spot, let me just bring it over. Come on, don't start messing with me right now. Oops. Okay. Same blind spot from the basement back door. Now you can actually see it without the lines now. Here's Candy and Candace right over here doing that little leg brace adjustment, 2 to 5 minutes. And at the same time, from the back end of the building, all you had to do was either go straight, cross the driveway, look at the line, and into the woods from that point. Or you could have got behind the building completely. Now it is a 100% blind spot, and then went down the hill, across the driveway, to the woods. So the whole point I'm showing you this is this. A random abduction, not likely. Someone who knew the terrain, knew the land, knew the location, and knew the blind spots, line of sight, would. And if they knew those coordinates, that creates blind spots and how many people are at the residence at that time. And it was only 2 adults outside, and they told us where they were. They were outside doing a leg brace. And even if Candace came into the building, at the time she said she did, to go in and check on the boys and on Summer, Let's take a look at that scenario. Candace comes into the building, leaves Grandma, and goes into the front. Time-wise, someone could be leaving the back area with Grandma still outside, Candace going to the front door area, and in that same time may have heard her actually come in and then left the building the same way. Possibility? And we have to factor in the dogs. If the dogs barked when Chris got there, I can definitely work with that. He's a stranger. However, what if the dogs knew? What if the dogs knew this person who made these line of sight blind maneuvers? Is it possible? How about probable? Slightly? Timing is a factor. This house's floor is made out of wood. So even if Candace left Grandma in front of the trailer here, went through the front door, Candace is kind of stocky. So her stepping up on the steps to go into the house would make enough noise on the floorboards to give that person who may be inside the basement an indication that she was now inside the house, could now make their way outside the building and traverse the terrain that way. Or hit the blind spot here and then make the traverse the terrain that way. I'm just bringing you what I see, folks. Let's take a look at this shot. This shows you line of sight on a horizontal level. Here we have one of the searchers walking the driveway and line of sight from the door that has to stretch not directly across horizontally 180 degrees, but here we have an angle of line of sight that goes behind him to the front. Also, once again, and that's just looking at it from the angle that I showed you. Taking a look at the same dynamic, two blind spots on both left and right side. Come around the building on either side. But we're focusing on that back door side. I hope they did forensics on that door. Pulled every fingerprint that belonged to the family and every fingerprint that doesn't. However, if they pulled all the fingerprints and they have nothing but the family, it still doesn't put anybody in the clear now, does it? So I wanted to show you this model because of all of the work that was put into this. And obviously that tree, Summer Wells's swing tree, from the two blind spots. What if Grandma went back in the camper while Candace was in the house? Could that create a blind spot too? Would that be a major blind spot as well? Grandma's got her leg brace on. She's hungry. It's hot. Maybe she went in to get something to drink. Candace goes into the house to look for Summer, where the boys are. Could that also create a blind spot for motion outside of the building as well? It doesn't take that long to traverse this terrain from this location because everything is downhill. I want to thank Tiffany Marie for a video piece she did of little Summer on the swing so we could see exactly how much terrain and line of sight, even from this video. I won't have sound on. Well, I can put the sound on, I think. Thank you, Tiffany Marie, for posting this on your channel, because we could see how Summer plays and what attention is given in this video. Oop. I don't want to play any music. I don't know if this guy, I don't want to get a copyright strike. Sorry about that. Let's play it without the music. I can give credit to Tiffany Marie for posting this on her channel. But this is Summer in her natural environment, just on the swing playing, but she's also in an open line of sight. This is what she does when she's on a swing. No care, no worries, no stress. Pay careful attention to the terrain and how close the swing is to the tree as well. You can see parts of the driveway in the back. There's another shot. Summer's on her swing. High visibility in this area to see Summer. Clear visibility. No obstruction in the line of sight. Thank you, Miss Tiffany Marie, for putting that up. She also put up another one that I wanted to show you, which is Summer dancing in the rain. Another angle from the doorway. On a rainy day, we see Summer outside. And if anybody noticed during the course of tonight's live, this 55-gallon drum, you know, the red one that's for sale. When we go back to the closing end of this video, we're going to see this drum on its side. What is the 55-gallon drum about? I haven't heard much said on this piece of evidence at this residential location. What could someone use a 55-gallon drum for other than a for sale sign when they could have just used a post? Okay, Renee says that she may have hit her head Hence the milk jugs. Other channel creators laugh at the milk theory. KK Alexa. Now she's thinking deep. Why didn't the neighbors allow law enforcement to search their property? Good point, Mr. Boss Blake. We have to add that to the equation. Police off the cuff is another channel I like on this case. So do I. Retired New York detectives, and one of them doesn't think Summer made it home. Grimaldi, I think his name is. Sergeant Grimaldi? He doesn't believe that Summer ever made it home. But yet, we have to go with the story or the narrative that was given to police, that she did make it home, that Candace made it home, Grandma made it home. They took the packages out of the car, as Candace explained, over and over and over again. So her story remains consistent. I mean, that's just my opinion. She hasn't changed anything. In fact, if anything, regarding her story, it kind of got stronger along the way, because it's not the same story she had told the news reporters when it first started. She left out a lot of details about the trip to the swimming hole, the number of stops she made. I believe the estimated time that of arrival to the residence on that day, June 15th, was a little after 3, possibly 3:06 to 3:12 in the afternoon, after being out. And then we had a 911 call at 6:30. So we have to account for at least 3.5 hours of time as to what happened here, along with 40 additional minutes it took for the police to show up. So let's increase that to about 4 hours and a half, 4:15 at best. So we've got a 4-hour timeline that needs, and that is being addressed, but definitely needs to be fully explained. That's a large time gap. Candace said that she had called Don. Summer's missing. He said, call the cops. She threw her phone down in the back of his truck. Was it his truck? Did she make a mistake and say his truck? I'm sure some of you heard that. She used Grandma's phone because she had AT&T connection that could take 911 calls. Made the call. And then, in the meantime, kept searching, looking, got in her vehicle, went off of the property, on the same road, Ben Hill Road, looking to the left, down to the right, maybe to the house on the corner between Ben Hill and Beach Creek Road, that small main route that leads to Ben Hill Road, the one we covered in the beginning. Maybe went down there, maybe even went all the way as far as going to the church and then turning around and coming back. How long did Candace search for Summer before she got back to the house? Anybody heard that answer yet? What was Grandma doing? What were the boys doing? Candace said that she sent the boys down to the creek area behind Grandma's trailer. Didn't see Summer, but how long did they search that area before they turned around and came back? Timeline, folks. This is what needs answers, the timeline. And every conversation you hear regarding this story, it just seems like the timeline just disappears in the abyss in a 3.5 to 4 hour time span. The only part that's missing is what happened at the resident. Is Candace guilty of anything? Is Don guilty of anything? Is Grandma guilty of anything? Oh, well, she went to Wisconsin. Well, okay, well, that's fine. If you're going to have somebody search your trailer for almost a 13-day period and keep repeating the searches over and over and over and over again, it would be annoying as hell. Why would she stay? I'm not giving her an excuse. I'm just saying, why would she stay? Especially when her granddaughter's missing? Well, why would she stay? Remember, she's got the knee problem. She's taking medicine for it. She's got police authorities to handle all that. Why would she stay? Is Candace and Donald guilty of any kind of neglect in this case? Because I'm sure when CPS arrived after the fact of the searches and saw the place looking like this, well, what would you think if you were a CPS caseworker coming to a crime scene after the fact of a thorough 13-day search, and then just this weekend that just passed, you had EquiSearch go back out there and search again and cover even more terrain? Whether they covered the residents, I'm not sure yet. But you have to factor these things in. Now CPS swings in and takes the boys. Because this environment now is detrimental to the well-being, welfare, and health to the children that remained. So now they got a double whammy. Summer's missing, and now their boys have been taken from them and put in foster care until that issue gets cleared up. So where are they going to go? Are they going to come back here? Are they going to come back to the resident if they get the boys back? Answers that still remained. Answers that still remain the way they are, or questions that don't have any answers yet. So you have both Candace and Donald in purgatory right now. They had to get an attorney, most likely to represent the children being taken by CPS, to represent that case. I don't think Candace and Donald would be able to afford, at this point in time, an attorney regarding any kind of criminal defense, because the police haven't charged them with anything yet. So it would make sense for them to have an attorney represent them concerning the kids that were taken by CPS. Okay, I've covered a lot here in a short period of time. Ooh, well, 1:43. I'm almost going on, 3 hours here? But I wanted to share these pieces of information with you, but the only way I was going to be able to tie it together was to actually show you. Show you the terrain on the way to the house, the dips in the rolling hills, the rugged terrain that the authorities had to search, the road that led to Ben Hill, the road itself, Ben Hill, to the driveway of the home where Summer lived. And then having Chris doing a fantastic and sensational job in conducting a very smooth, just a very pleasant interview in ways that we could all learn. We could definitely learn. But also that interview was also part of his investigation, how he was able to build rapport with Candace, not only at the swimming hole, but here at the house. how he was able to build rapport with Hunter, how he was able to build rapport with Allison and her mother. I don't think in any way, shape, or form the work that he's done in performing and capturing, him and his wife, that is, capturing this information for us has any detriment to this case at all. This is after the fact the police have been there, after the fact the searches have been done, after the fact, but it is still an ongoing investigation. But the work that he did, I don't think in any way, shape, or form would have a detriment to it. In fact, if anything, it would help, especially in the statement area, statement analysis, both from both Candace and Donald and Grandma and Allison and Hunter and Allison's mother, as well as I think there was another woman by the name of I don't know if her name was Leslie. She was part of the Hunter Allison interview. She was sitting at the table, but he did remarkable work in bringing us information we wouldn't have never gotten anyplace else. So my hat and heart goes out to Chris McDonough and his wife for doing this to bring light, to shed light and truth to this horrible and tragic story of a 5-year-old that just went missing. She was just gone. So who goes that way? Reminded me of the Orson and Orrin West case. I came inside, I didn't see him there. I went back outside, I didn't see him there. I realized I left the gate open. Wow. It's incredible. This is under your nose, folks. This is under your nose. You mean to tell me it's gotten that dangerous out there that children can be under your nose and they can go missing? Yep. According to the story that we were told, that's what it appears to be. I call it an appearance of the fourth kind. We're hearing stuff we've never heard before. But kids just don't go missing. They just don't do it by it. It just that put what? Aliens are coming down and snatching our kids from Ohio, California City, Bakersfield, Tennessee, New York, snatching them up all over the place. And the explanations that come behind them are just, oh my God. It's almost like you couldn't write this stuff. You couldn't make this stuff up. Does John Q have a theory? Shaydoc, I guess I've shown you a little bit of what my theory is. I think there are a line of sights, blind spots that may have occurred during the time following Candace's story and Donald's story now, because Donald backs Candace's story. And this is Candace's narrative because she was the one that was there. Remember, Donald was allegedly at work, or was he? Was that ever verified? I didn't hear any verification of that. I didn't hear any verification about the polygraph from TBI, whether both of them passed or failed. I didn't hear any verification of none of that. And I think one of the panelists on today's interview room said trust but verify. And this is what the police's core line of investigation is all about. You know, people can tell you anything, they can show you anything, but you got to get it verified. And it's got to be corroborated. It's got to be backed up. It's got to make sense. That's what he's talking about. That's how they operate. And we all want it to make sense. So we all have to follow that train of thought as well. That's the only way to the truth. We will eventually find out what happened to Summer Wells. Time will tell. All these cases, time will tell. Classic and Sincere, over 7 months, time will tell. 40 days now going into the 40s in days. Time will tell for Summer Wells. Just as it was told for the Amara Nicholson case. Time will tell for the Xavier Harrelson case. An 11-year-old that goes missing in Iowa, riding his bike one moment and poof, he's gone. Anybody know anything? Anybody see anything? Answers no. Why? But time will tell. So in covering tonight and giving you a little bit of, I guess, my perspective on this case, will I do a follow-up? I don't know. This was on my mind. This was inside of me. I wanted to get out. I appreciate the law enforcement efforts that have went into this case. It is one of the most biggest law enforcement teamwork efforts I have ever seen. It is the biggest crime scene I have ever seen. It's able to try to begin to understand. And it's going to unfold. It's going to continue to unfold. I just wanted to share with you just a couple of things that I came across. So with that said, Summer Wells, there are a lot of people out here that love you, care about you, want you to come home safely, wherever you may be. Know that there are people who really, really care. And I'm in good company working with other content creators now, making my contribution here tonight, this morning, wherever you may be, to this case. If there's any other information that I do come across that I see that's not out there, I will share it. I just hope that tonight's time and the efforts that you've allowed me to share with you, my thoughts, are well worth it. Are well worth it. I want to thank you special thanks goes out to Tiffany Marie for the work that she's done and the videos that I've played. Some are on the swing, some are dancing in the rain. Thank you so much, Tiffany. Much love goes out to you. That woman is 24/7. I thought she worked for TBI, but we've got some great people on this. AB on his channel. He can come at you hard and straight and to the point, but it's all with good intention. All with good intention. Also, Miss Molly Golightly and the coverage that she's able to share. I think she actually is not sharing so much. I mean, Tiffany has really been the front runner, but Molly supports her, and I send my love to her too. Miss Q Carlock, that woman, every time I turn around, she's got postings and new postings. She's working on new cases and she's spreading awareness of all these cases. I mean, she's down on the ground running, pedal to the metal, rubber to the road. All of our children have a place in everyone's heart, everyone's mind. I decided to jump in. I didn't want to be a true crimes channel, but I don't know. It's just God's led me this way. God's led me this way. I sit here in New York. These things are happening in Tennessee, California, Iowa, all over the place. But if there's anything that I can do, just whatever little I can do, an email, a phone call, a live session, just to push the hope of justice down the road a little bit further, a little bit deeper, a little bit stronger, and you got a team of people that you run alongside on independent channels, we're not fighting amongst each other. We shouldn't be doing that anyway. Hey, look, you cover your content the way you do it. I cover my content the way I do it. Guess what? If we both meet the same goal at the end, when we get to the other side of this and we all win, guess what? What was the argument about again? What was the bashing about again? Nothing. Nothing. These cases are important. All of them are. And to show how important it is, and to show people on YouTube and Facebook and all the other social media, here's what we're going to do together. To show others that are watching this live, and then will watch the live after it's over, show them how many hearts and prayer hands you can put in this chat room tonight. Just give them a little bit of a piece, a little small piece of a demonstration on what unity is about. Can we do that just for a moment? Can we do that just for a moment? Let's flood this room with hearts and prayer hands, because it's not just for one case, it's for all of them. Just take a moment. Don't take but a few seconds just to show people watching this live that you support the work and the efforts of the work that's being put into this, just for awareness. That's it. That's a loud statement you're making right now. You're letting the world know, whoever watches John Q, that is, you're letting the world know that you're here in support of the efforts being done to resolve these cases. And it just lets me know that I'm in very good company with every single one of you, and every single one of you that I haven't even come across yet that may join my channel, may want to listen to John Q just a little bit longer. Man, he does those 3-4 hour lives. I can't sit through anything like that. Okay, we'll take it a piece at a time. Just take it a piece at a time. I cover a lot. I try to, because to me, it's got to make sense. And what I've walked you through here tonight, I hope it makes sense. But I had to get to a starting point. And I think sharing my time with you regarding these children is a great starting point, because we're still working on their behalf. We're still working on their behalf. And we'll continue to work on their behalf, because it's all worth it to me. Every single time I go live, it's showtime. And it's not John Q. It's what John Q presents. And it's what all the other content creators present. Thank you. Wow, those hearts are still floating. Yeah, that's right. Let the world know. Let the people know. You're not here for nothing. Oh, I just had nothing to do on a late Thursday night, Friday morning, and I came across John Q's channel, so nothing on Netflix, nothing else on YouTube anyway. Something that's different, presented different, with a unique perspective. That's all I strive to do. That's all we can do. That's all we can do. But I'm in good company, like I said. We will find out. We will find out why these children go missing. They think we'll never find out. Oh, yes, we will. As long as we pursue the truth, the answers will come. It's when we take our eyes off the truth and let it fade away, slip it in the bookshelf, sweep it under the carpet, close the door and lock it, kind of thing. We'll get to it maybe later when maybe something new comes about. No, you can never get to the truth that way. You got to stand strong, and you got to have the courage to keep digging. Because that's what love is the essence of. Courage, strength, spirituality, and unity, all moving at the same time, in the same way, in the same direction. Because when you have purpose, you have more freedom than you can ever imagine. It's when you don't have purpose is when your freedoms are taken away from you. Oh boy, we've got some serious winners here tonight. Thank you all. Thank you all for hanging out with John Q for 3 hours and bearing with the little interruptions that we did come across with Google Earth. It still does a good job. YouTube videos still buffer a little bit, but we just be patient and get it going. And they played. They showed us what we needed to see. Both the content and the context and the body of the information was delivered. And in a way, and I hope that it opened up your eyes to some new possibilities, maybe even sharpened some things down to a probability. But that's what I came across. And that's why I entitled tonight's live the way I did. So walkthrough of the home, there's a line of sight, and we walked a grid tonight. That's what I do. I'll tell you what I see. I'll share it with you the way I see it and the way I can share it. And then it'll be up to those who are responsible to do something with it. Now, this room is still floating. Renee, this was your first live? Okay. Well, welcome, Renee. Glad to have you connect with John Q tonight. I hope you come back. I thank all my moderators for being with me, running with me, caring with me, daring with me, and sharing with me their time. That life particle that they have inside of them. Thank you. Mr. Brother Boss Blake, Miss Nay, Lisa B, Aubrey, thank you so much for being here tonight. And for everyone that is not in blue, that have supported my channel to this day, I got to look back and find out what date I started my channel. I get to see some content creators doing anniversaries, and I said, I haven't done one. I just been going since the Kanika Jenkins case, and that was back in 2017 of September. Didn't actually officially start my channel until the end of 18 into 19, so I'm still young. Still getting a handle on the technology, the use of the live applications. I'm just very happy that I've grown, that Kanika helped me to grow in a way where as I stand here, as I'm here today with you, is because of her. So I've been blessed by Kanika in that way. I stand for justice, knowing that her case will get justice, and then stay on the road and keep the car in the same direction to pursue justice for other cases, other children, other people, no matter what. Okay. X-Country. Wow, long time no see. I haven't seen you since the Fed days. Unc Fed. I haven't seen him. I haven't seen him on a channel at all. Maybe he's changed the channel. Sometimes when you got 5, 6, 7, 10, 15 channels, you lose track of the names. But good to see you, country. Yeah, I know it's been a minute. You got that right. Never forget these children. That's right, Renee. Never forget Kanika. Absolutely. And we're starting to wind down. And this room is still throwing out hearts and love. Thank you so much. And so, yeah, I'll be coming back Sunday. Oh, that's what I almost forgot. Aha. Thank you for reminding me. I'm going to go to screen share once again. I will be back on Sunday evening at 8:30. I'm going to be coming back with a powerhouse of a case. Miss Q Carlock is going to be joining me once again. And we are going to be digging into a case we've already started as of tonight, by the way. I was on her channel earlier. Well, let me see if I can find it. And I believe I can. I wanted to share with you little baby Mackenzie. That's our next case. This is a brand new case that's come to me through Miss Q Carlock. I was able to speak with members of the family tonight on Miss Q's panel. They were covering the tragic story of this little girl that nearly lost her life when she was 3 months old. And the story behind it will definitely grab you and say, what on earth is happening to our young adults who are bringing babies into the world and then treating them like garbage? How on earth do you do that to a 3-month-old? And when you hear the story on Sunday, it's going to blow your mind. This little baby, this precious baby, almost lost her life. Negligence? I think there should be another word that even tops that for this particular case. Abuse? Absolutely. And in a way you could never, ever imagine. So we're going to be digging into this case. This is an active case. There are people that should be held responsible for what happened to baby Mackenzie. And I'm on it. And I'm not running by myself. I got some great people to connect with, interact with. And I'm only there as a support mechanism to keep things going in a specific direction and to make sure that there's a game plan and strategy for going forward to receiving justice. I had a press release that was given to us, made known to us today by the police department in Tennessee. This is another Tennessee story. And it's good to know that they're on it. They're investigating this and they will prosecute to the fullest extent. Well, we shall see. But working on it and bringing awareness, if you're not familiar with the story, there is a YouTube video. All you got to do is baby Mackenzie, and you'll see this little baby here. This is Mackenzie. Maybe I'll put the link. I'll clip the link in the description box later on tonight. This way you'll be able to see it. And we have an aunt and 2 grandmothers currently taking care of little baby Mackenzie right now. And the story behind this is, as I said, it's going to blow your mind. Sunday night, 8:30. You don't want to miss that live. We're going to be up and running and taking off with this, and making sure that there's consistent progress in getting the word out. There's a petition already out. Got it linked on that upcoming live right now. So if you went to the description box on that upcoming live for Sunday, you can actually go to the petition and just put your name down. It don't cost nothing. It doesn't cost a thing. And as far as the petition is concerned, I believe it's going to be reaching its goal. I mean, I would say within less than a week, because all it needs is at least 2,500 names to keep the word on the news media about this case and to spread it to other news media on this case. It also has a Facebook page. I believe I also put that link in there too, that you can go to and become a follower and a supporter of this case. But one thing that we did say tonight on Miss Q's channel is that we're running alongside this family. We're supporting this family 1,000%. And we're going to do everything in our power to be sure that we stay in front of making sure that the story stays in front. So yeah, I didn't forget. So make sure that you're subscribed and you got the notification bell on for Sunday. And join us for the Baby Mackenzie case. Okay. Thank you, Father. Thank you for reminding me about that. That was one of the main things I wanted to close tonight's live with, was making sure that I put the word out there. And if you're interested, go to Q Carlick's page. You can see her live from tonight with the family, just to get an idea as to what the storyline is, what they're doing to get justice, how far they've come, the strength, courage, and love from the aunt and the two grandmothers now in the with care of Baby Mackenzie. It's absolutely phenomenal story, none like I've ever seen before. So for those of you that are interested, just go to Q Carlock 2 or one of Miss Q or one of her Q channels, let's just say. I'll post it. I'll make sure I post it so that this way you can get an idea as to the details of the story. Ooh, with that said, folks, that'd be about a wrap for me. KK Alexa, well, yeah, can't wait. I support you, brother, and I will be here on Sunday. Well, thank you, love. Thank you. Ms. KK Alexa's also got a channel, if I'm not mistaken. I think I've been to your channel a couple of times. Well, much love goes to you. I remember the name. I remember your name. Show some love to John Q if you haven't already. Thank you, Miss Renee. Just rolling with it. We need a sticker for laws for crimes against children. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Mary Gannetts, yes, good night to you, love. Thank you for joining us this evening. Deborah Sharp, I see you writing up there. I see you writing up there. See, I got to scroll back down. There's a lot of stuff here I'm missing. Yeah, those people and that aunt are the reason she strives to live. She's got that love, that's for sure. That is for sure. But yeah, definitely that'll be a video piece, that live. We're going to get it out to Facebook. We're going to get it out to many different platforms. We're going to share this same content with other content creators and start multiplying the numbers and let other content creators make people aware of that specific case and draw people, pull us together. And whatever petitions, or there's also a GoFundMe that's being developed for legal expenses pertaining to an ongoing investigation, legal investigation, that is. So that information we'll be able to share with you a little bit more on Sunday night. Oh, you're in the process of redoing it? Okay. You're coming back brand new? Okay. I know I saw your name out there, and I visited your channel a couple of times. And then I don't know, with content creators in some of these cases, that being so deep and so passionate about some of these cases, we sometimes we get to lose perspective as to the reasons why we started a case, and we start to get into other people's business and start to talk that BS thick and tall and wide to each other. And that's when I just sign off. I go to another channel that's talking the business of the business, not other people's private business. And he said, and she said, and as Angela from Shenanigans, Everyday Shenanigans would say, and Pookie and Ray Ray and Wee Wee and Pee Pee, all these people just want to get on each other's nerves to spike their numbers. See which one is going to outdo each other in semantics. You know, the adult games that people play. I mean, that's all it is. You know, they're trying to give you a little taste of Love and Hip Hop, or, you know, the Housewives of Atlanta. I mean, we got it all on YouTube. Who needs to watch it on TV when we got it here? You know, some people go for the entertainment. I get that. I mean, for them, it's not all bad. You know, as long as their name is not mentioned into it, they're fine. But once you get your name thrown in there, oh boy, I got to come back. Damn, let me put together a channel. Start to swing the axe a little bit. I'm out of shape. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Y'all been in these channels. Y'all been in the chat rooms. Hey, they hoop and holler for hours. 2, 3, 4, 5 hours. One name, back and forth. It could be 1 week, 2 weeks. Same people. So my goodness, haven't you ran out of words for this person that you don't know, that you'll never know, care about, see on the street, sit next to at dinner or anything? What would you care? But people find exercise in venting a lot. They got to get their respiratory systems kicked up. You know what I mean? Talk about high blood pressure. That's the best way to do it. Go on YouTube and see your pressure go up. Just go to any one of those channels and hit it. Because those are the ones that are always saying, hit the like button, hit the like button. Don't forget to hit the like button. Well, tell me the story first. I just got here. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Don't forget to hit the like button. Oh, the like button. And hadn't said a word out their mouth yet. So what are you going to like? But that's up to you. I say wait till the end, and then you can do your due diligence. If you like the content, then hit the like. Don't wait till I get on, because I'm not going to ask you a thing, but just to listen for a little bit. I want to share some things with you, and hopefully you'll walk away with the right message. That's all. That's what I come on here for. And that's my contribution. But much love goes out to every single one of you for being here. I'm going to wrap it up. As I always say, and as I always will say, be well and stay blessed with God's speed. I'm John Q. We'll be back on Sunday night. I look forward to seeing you then. Good night.